Sadhi Biharik. In the same way, Sadhi Biharik was supposed to treat his teacher Upadhyay just like a father, and he has to take permission for each and everything, just like we are having the concept of the relation between son and father. In the same manner, the relation between the Acharya and the Antevasi was the same on the basis of the father and the son also. And they were behaving each other just like the son and the father. The difference between the Acharya and the Acharya and the Upadhyay was imparting the knowledge differently. But sometimes we are having scriptural evidence that when there was no Upadhyay, Acharya used to give the canonical teaching, and when Acharya was not available, then Upadhyay was also giving the practical teachings to the students. So we are having the references like that. So here we are having that in the Mahabharata, the first book of Vidya Pitaka, we are having the history of the, you can say, development of the Sangha, and how this Sangha, the small resting places, became the, you can say, center of the learning. We are having the 5 main, you can say, lineage, or the places for the resting place of the monks and the nuns. They are the, you can say, Aram, Bihar, Guha, Kapiya, Kutti, like that we are having. We will give the names later on, that how the, you can say, concept of this resting place were developed. In the scriptures, in the Sutta Pitaka, we are having the how Jetwan Bihar was given to the Blessed One by the, you can say, Sresti, or you can say businessman, you can say Anath Pidak. So the Jetwan Aram Bihar, these were initially a resting place for the monks and nuns. And we are having also concept of Mahabharata, you can say, resting place during the rainy season, rainy resort, you can say. At the time of the 3, you can say, month from the July to September, that is during the Varsa Vas, the monks were supposed to remain at one place. And it was not a concept of, you can say, 1 day or 2 days. It became, you can say, it took 1 century, 2 century, 3 century, 4 century to develop a resting place around into a Bihar, you can say. The Bihar became the center of the learning, you can say. And where the Shastras were, you can say, read out, they were imparted knowledge to the monks and the nuns. So later on, this Aram and Bihar became the Mahabihar, you can say. In the Manorath Purni, the commentary of the Anguttara Nikaya, we are having the description of that how this Aram developed into Bihar. As we are having that during the 3 months rainy resort, the monks were used to meditate. In Manorath Purni, we are having the, you can say, concept that when there are more than 100 or more than 1,000 persons who are meditating, but there will be no fruitful any outcome unless they are not going through the scriptures. That is the Pariyatti. There is no any development of the Patipatti until unless a monk or a nun does not have Pariyatti. That is the, you can say, scriptural evidence, you can say, learning. So in that way, the Aram or Bihar developed as a Mahabihar. We are having that by how the 6th century AD, we are having Nalanda Mahabihar, Takshashila Mahabihar, Odantapuri Mahabihar, and other places. how this Mahavihar developed, you can say. That is the story, you can say, developed in the Mahabharata and other, you can say, text. There was a unique thing in the Bihar also. Non-Brahmins were also allowed there. In the Gurukul, we are having that only Brahmanas were joining the Gurukuls. But here, the persons who were also belonging to other caste, they were joining, you can say. So Bihar, there were Gurukuls at certain places. But here, Biharas were developed, you can say, just at the border of the villages, you can say, where the people used to come to have the knowledge, you can say. And then Mahabihar developed out to Bihar, we have already discussed. And then we are having that how the Mahabihar developed insignia of the Dharma Chakra. Wherever you go to the Mahabihar or the monastery, you will find that how a Dhamma Chakra is being flanked by the two deers. Initially, the Dharma Chakra, which is flanked by the two deers, signifies the first sermon of the Buddha, that is the Dhammacakka Pavartan at Sarnath. Later on, where the centers of the learning or higher learning, they were having the insignia or the symbol of the Dharma Chakra being flanked by the two deers. In the Nalanda monastery also, we are having insignia of the, you can say, Dharma Chakra being flanked by the two deers. Now Nalanda Mahavihar, which is still running, you can say, they also chose the same insignia or the symbol which Nalanda Mahavihar was having at the time of the 6th century AD or after that also. So nowadays also, if you visit any monastery or any, you can say, the center of the higher learning, you will find the Dharma Chakra being flanked by the two deers. So the concept of Mahavihar, how this we are discussing the concept of Mahavihar, that this concept of Mahavihar, as we have seen that this developed out of the Bihar. Bihar, from the resting place of the, you can say, the Aram, Ardajog, Pasad, Ramniya, Guha. These were the some of the places which were, you can say, developed later on Bihar, and from Bihar we are having the concept of Mahavihar. In the Suttas, like in the Samant Pasadika, we are having the concept of, you can say, Mahavihar. In the Pachatya also and the Chulabhaga also. In Pachatya, we are having that Ekam Samayam Bhagava, Savatyam Viharati, Jet Vanam Anatha Pindaka Aramasa. Tatra Kho Satarasa Vagya Bhikkhu Mahaviharasa Ayataram Mahaviharam Abhisankharoti. That we are having the reference in the Pachatya also. And in the Chulabhaga, we are also having the reference that Sanghasa Mahaviharam Udiyarati, that for the Sangha, this Mahavihar is being constructed or being, you can say, built. So we are having, you can say, concept of, you can say, and we are having the reference that if a monk, if a bhikkhu wishes to build a center of learning, then he has to ask, you can say, chief of the abbot of the monastery to construct a center of the higher learning. And after obtaining the permission, a monk can build a, you can say, Mahavihar. So like that, in the Samant Pasadika, we are also having, Buddha Ghosh gives the reference of the, you can say, Mahavihar. And in the Sanskrit text, Buddhist Sanskrit text, Audana Kalpalata, we are also having the concept of Mahavihar, which were, in the Mahavihar, there was the speciality that people used to compose the new text, like Praman Vartik, Praman Samuchaya, by the, you can say, Dharmakirti, Silabhadra, and other acharyas. they were composing the text, you can say. So the Mahavihar, wherever the Mahavihar, there was the composition of the new text, and that was the uniqueness of the Mahavihar, you can say. And in the, you can say, reference of Mahavihar Vasins, we are having the Sinhalese text. There were Mahavihar Vasins. We are having the reference, they were Aranya Vasin and Mahavihar Vasin. In Anuradhapur Mahavihar, there was Abhaygiri Mahavihar. These were the Mahavihar which were developed in Sri Lanka after, you can say, introduction of Buddhism by Mahendra and Sanghamitra in Sri Lanka in 3rd century BC. Then how this, you can say, Anuradhapur Mahavihar, Abhaygiri Mahavihar, other Mahavihars, they were developed in Sri Lanka, in other, you can say, country also. So how this center for higher learning, you can say, they were developed in other parts of the world also. And then Mahavihar generally served as a, you can say, higher Buddhist education in India. And then Mahavihar is generally, you can say, used in the monastic ceilings of northern India. In the Nalanda, we are also having a ceiling. In the ceiling, we are also having that Nalanda Mahaviharisya Bhikkhu Sanghasya. Like that, we will give the, you can say, and these are the names of the residential places of the monks and nuns. We have also discussed Bihar, Adjog, Pasad, Hammiya, Guha, Kuti, Sangharam, Kapya Kuti, and Mahavihar. These are the terms where, you can say, which were used for the monks and nuns as a resting place. And from these places, Mahavihar developed as a center of higher Buddhist learning or education, you can say. Then we have already discussed that how Mahabharata, the first book, Mahabharata, is treated as a traditional history of Buddhism. It gives the development of the origin and the development of the Sangha and how the Buddhist education was developed in India, you can say. So we also have the reference of Mahallik Bihar. Mahallik Bihar means that was not a center of a higher Buddhist education, but this was a resting place for the monks and the nuns, where the large number of the monks and nuns we used to stay there, and they were having the, you can say, discussions on the scriptures. Now we are coming to the monastic establishment. As we have discussed, Adjog, Pasad, Hammiya, Guha, these were the places. But there were 4 Nisayas. Nisayas were a monk or nun used to depend upon the 4, you can say, things. They were the Pansukul Chivaram, Pindiya Lopa Bhojanam, Rukkhamul Senasanam, Putte Mut Bhesaj Parikhar. That a monk or nun is supposed to wear the Valli Chivar. Chivar is made up of only 3, you can say, Uttarasang, Sanghati or Antarvasak. These were the 3, you can say, things which were used as a cloth for a monk and nun. Then second was the, you can say, Pindiya Lopa Bhojanam, that whatever it was given on the alms bowl, in the alms bowl, he was supposed to satisfy himself or herself, whatever he is getting on that, you can say, alms bowl, that is the Pindiya Lopa Bhojanam. And third is the Rukkhamul Serasanam. A bhikkhu is supposed to stay at the root of the tree, you can say. That was the basic need of the, you can say, dependence on the satisfaction of a person. That how Ghas Chhadan Paramatayo Bhikkhu Santutthoti, that a bhikkhu must be satisfied by covering from the grass and by taking the, you can say, minimum food. That was the, you can say, And the fourth Nisay was the Putti Mut Bhesaj Parikhar, the requisites related with the medicine and by taking the urine. This was the fourth, you can say, dependence. So these are the four Nisayas which were supposed to follow by a monk and the nun. And then Acharya, Upadhyay, Antyavasi and Sadhya Bihari. We have already discussed about all these terms, how Sadhya Bihari and the Upadhyay, they were used to behave just like father and the son, and Acharya and the Antyavasi, they used to also behave themselves just like father and the sons. And then Buddha were asking to the disciples that whosoever offers to the Sangha for the, you can say, imparting the knowledge, one must be grateful to them. And how we had to return them by giving the, you can say, scriptural knowledge to the society, to the persons of the society. Then this was the uniqueness of the Buddhist education of the, you can say, Mahavihar, which was imparted, that there was no any distinction of the caste, creed, monks coming from the non-Brahmins also, sections, and there was the naturally sympathetic to impart education also to his fellow beings. They were also deprived of education in the Brahmanic Gurukuls. So persons who were not having the, you can say, education from the Gurukuls, they were coming to the Mahavihar for gaining the, you can say, knowledge. That what was the curriculum or syllabus of the Mahavihar or the Buddhist education? As we know that there was the study of Buddha Vachana, that is the teachings related with the Sutta Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka and Abhidhamma Pitaka. These were the three main, you can say, canonical teachings which were imparted in the, you can say, Mahavihar. And that was the main Buddhist educations. Other Shastras and Vidyas, at the time of the Buddha, there were the 19 or 18 silpas. Later on, we are having that there are the Panch Mahavidyas. In the Tibet, we are having the concept of the Panch Mahavidyas, that is the Hetu Vidya, Adhyatma Vidya, Chikitsa Vidya, Sabda Vidya, and Silpa Vidya. These are the five main, you can say, Mahavidyas, you can say. But at the time of the 6th century BC, there were the 18 Vidyas, you can say. Vidyas in the Pali, you can say. So Vidyas, or you can say that is the Silpa, they were the branches of the learning at the time of the Buddha. So 4 Vedas, 6 Sanghas, and 9 Sattu Sasanam, these were the course curriculum in the Mahavihar, where the, you can say, Buddhist education was given to the monks and the nuns. Besides this Buddhist teachings, canonical teachings, Sutta, Vinaya and Abhidhamma, we are also having the concept of stupa building, that how stupas are being constructed, that how this Sanchi stupa, Bharhut stupa, Ajanta and Ellora, how these centers where you can say they were also centers of learning. The people were getting the Buddhist educations at this, you can say, centers. Speakers of the male and the females in a very bad manner. So later on, Buddha prohibited that no one is allowed to decorate the teachings of the Buddha in a bad manner, you can say. So just I will finish.
We have
10,
10 more minutes.
10, 10.
And 20 minutes, 15 minutes for his introduction.
Okay, just. So these were the, you can say, later on the painting was developed. Then we are also having the architectural design, how the architectures of the monastery they were developed in the, you can say, monastic education. And then we are having the Panchayatan. This is the specialty of the Nalanda Mahavihar, that how the Panchayatan, they were developed in the, you can say. Later on, these types of Mahavihar, I am not going to detail it, you can say. So in some of the Mahavihar,